Welcome back to Shy's Big New Who Rewatch, where I watch every single episode of New Who, starring with Chris Eccleston, to celebrate the 21 years that it has been back on our screens. So, in this video, I am basically going to be covering from Love and Monsters all the way to Doomsday, because I've decided that I'm going to do Runaway Bride in Series 3, just to kind of even out the numbers a little bit. So, there's going to be a few episodes talked about in this one, but yeah, let's get into Love and Monsters. I have been dreading doing this one purely, I don't know. Love and Monsters and Fear Her are probably two of my least favourite episodes in Doctor Who history. And there are reasons for that. Like, I can't be too mean about the design of the Absorbaloff because it was designed by a child at the time. But in my defense, I was also 9 at the time. So, like, I guess if the kid was the same age as me, then bully away. But anyway, the Absorbaloff design in general. Also, why does Peter Kay go from being really posh, like being kind of very like RP, to when he's the Absorbaloff being like the most northern bloke you've ever met in your life? Like, why does that change happen? But anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later. So this is a very Doctor light episode and companion light episode. It's told from the point of view of Elton. Now, I thought in sort of the shooty era when we met Conrad, I thought that he was going to be a little bit like Elton, but he turned out obviously not to be. He turned out to be an absolute knobhead. Whereas Elton is just a guy who had an experience with the Doctor when he was younger, and he wants to meet him. He wants to know, what his deal is. He wants to know, why he has different faces, why the blue box is always there, why he's always got a companion with him, right? He needs to know all of that, like why he hasn't aged in all of those years. Which you'd have those questions. You absolutely would have those questions if you had met the Doctor in the same way that he had. So he then starts this group, Linda, which is short for London Investigation and, because, like fish and chips, rock and roll, Detective Agency. And yeah, Linda get together. They're just kind of a ragtag bunch who want to know stuff about the Doctor, but they become friends. They become like a little family. They become almost like, found family, and, they care about each other. They want, obviously, to find the Doctor, but they also play music, and, they bake, and they just have a nice time. They start talking about, why they joined, why they want to find the Doctor, and they become friends. But then good old Victor Kennedy comes in with his stupid little walking stick that's like shaped like a hand, like this. It's like, why is it shaped like a fist, bro? Like, you don't have to convey your heart. Like, you don't. So he comes in and he's like, no, this is not how it's going to work. We need to stop playing music. We need to stop having any fun at all. This is going to be like a workplace. We're going to be like doing recon on the Doctor. And then slowly but surely, the members of Linda dwindle. They dwindle, and he has absorbed them, which we find out when Ursula goes back to get her phone, right? Bridget and Mr. Skinner have kind of brought up a little bit of a romance. So when she goes missing, he obviously is very, very concerned. Victor's like, oh, I've got a number for her. It's fine. Meanwhile, Elton, creepy little Elton, is romancing Jackie Tyler. He is trying to get into her pants in order to find shit out about Rose, right? Which, I love Jackie Tyler, and the fact that he messed with her upsets me greatly. So, Jackie is a character who's left behind. She is one of the characters that Rose just leaves behind and expects to just be there when she's back from all of her adventures. She's expected to just be in the same flat. She's expected to just be without her daughter, right? Bear in mind, her husband died. Her daughter is off travelling God knows where with this alien fella who just turned up on their doorstep their doorstep one day. He just turned up, and that was that. It was very much, you know, whirlwind for her. It was very much a whirlwind of everything that happened. So when Elton comes into her life, she's like, do you know what? Yeah, a bit of companionship. But then she finds a picture of Rose in his jacket, because she's like, it's never about me, is it? It's never about me. It's always about the doctor. It's always about Rose. It's never just about Jackie Tyler. And that's the sad truth of it. That's the real sad truth of Jackie Tyler, that she is never the one that anyone wants. They're always using her to get to other people. And that must suck. That must really suck to be her in that situation. Right? So, yeah. Elton then realizes he loves Ursula and he wants to be with her. He invites her out to dinner. And then, yeah, she has to go back and get her phone, and she gets absorbed as well into this big, disgusting, ugly creature. And then, yeah, gets turned into a paving slab because the doctor's like, okay, right, this big thing in front of me. You look a bit Slovene. Like, are you from Raxcoricophalopatorius? And it's like, okay, what would the sister planet of Raxcoricophalopatorius be? Right? Clom. Which I feel like is the most northern. Like, I don't know. I feel like it could be a village in Yorkshire. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it could absolutely be a place up north. Like Clom. Where are you from? Clom. Like, but anyway, so they deal with him. Elton snaps his cane, killing him, and then has a bit of a love life with Ursula Paving Slab. Yeah. I'm not happy about that part. Like, how on earth do you have a bit of a love life with a paving slab? We're now going to go into the second episode of this video, and it is Fear Her. I have also been dreading doing Fear Her. Fear Her and Love Monsters are ones that I've kind of been dreading doing a rewatch of, because they're just kind of mid-episodes, if I'm entirely honest, in the whole grand scheme of Doctor Who. So, with Fear Her, it is basically set in 2012 when the Olympics are happening, because the Olympic torch is passing by this council estate. Turns out that on this estate, on this housing estate, kids are going missing. Just poof, right in front of your eyes. Just gone. No explanation, no white windowless van, nothing. So they're just going missing, and the Doctor and Rose work out it's something to do with Chloe Webber. Or should I say, Chloe Webber? So she is an introvert. She's just, stuck in a room drawing all these kids. And whoever she draws seems to disappear. Isn't that a little bit weird? So the Doctor and Rose investigate. They go into her house, talk to her mum. Her mum, frightened, absolutely terrified of this child. They find out that there's this little alien thing residing in Chloe Webber, and that it needs to get home via a little pod thing. The pod is an oid, right? So Rose digs it up, after she takes a council axe out of a council van and digs up a council road. Good old Council Kel. I feel like he needed a spin-off. But yeah, so she digs up the road and finds this little pod, which is basically an oid. If you remember oids, like the little magnetic things that you used to like play with, they were kind of like fidget things. Yeah. It looked just like a painted oid. It was the size, it was the shape. I feel like it was definitely a painted oid. And at some point I will get some oids and I'll try and recreate it to see if my theory is correct. But anyway, so they get that, but it needs heat. It needs charging. Well, what's a way to get it heat? Maybe the Olympic torch that is passing through this very housing estate. But, Chloe draws the Doctor, so he can't help. So it's got to be Rose. It's down to Rose. She gets it in there. And, while they're fighting this drawing of Chloe's dad that she has done, because she decided to draw her very abusive dad in her wardrobe for whatever reason. Rose is dealing with all of this. She gets the oid into the torch, and the guy carrying the torch passes out, and guess who picks it up? The Doctor. And bish bash bosh, done. Episode done. And yeah, can't really say more about it than that because it's just a little bit mid. We are now moving on to the third two-parter of Series 2 and the second Cyberman two-parter. Not that I mind, because I love the Cybermen. But, yeah, we are moving on to Army of Ghosts and then Doomsday. I am going to do them separately because I know I did the last Cyberman two-parter as kind of one big clump, I guess. But, I don't know, I feel like there's much more substance in these two episodes and like the differences between them and like important things in both. Anyway, I digress. Otherwise, this is going to be way too long. So, like I said, third two-parter, and it's very Torchwood heavy. It's very, very Torchwood heavy. So Rose and the Doctor come back to see Jackie, and they give her a present, and she's like, "Oh, well, you're just in time because you know your granddad that died like 10 years ago. Well, he's back." Because all of these ghosts have just been like showing up all around the world. They're all around the estate. And then we just kind of see this like blob thing, like this vaguely human looking blur. The Doctor notices pretty quickly that like feet don't look like boots. And it's really strange that he's got boots on and all of the ghosts have boots. We see the ghosts in everything. We see the ghosts in EastEnders because it's the ghost of Den Watts. We see the ghosts on the Trisha show, which I think, to be fair, the things that we see them in ages this episode. So we see Derek Akora, who obviously has not been with us for many, many years now. And he's like, "Oh, I'm out of a job," because, he's basically, his job was like ghost whisperer. So yeah, we see Peggy in the Queen Vic. We see the ghosts on Trisha, which is very like Jeremy Kyle light. It was like a talk show back in like the 90s, 2000s. So yeah, it definitely ages the episode. But as the Doctor and Rose go out to investigate these ghosts, yeah, the Torchwood theme plays. This is one of 3 times that it plays between these 2 episodes. And it just feels very heavy-handed. It feels like, watch my show. You like this show? You will like my other show. You will like show, yes? Show, yes? Watch show. Watch my show. Like that, it feels very, very that. So the Doctor and Rose and Jackie, because she's decided to come upon the TARDIS. But she also is like, "Oh, he's kidnapped me." I love Jackie in the TARDIS. She's like, "If we end up on Mars, then I'm gonna kill you." I love Jackie. I think she's brilliant. I love Jackie Tyler. But yeah, so they end up at the Torchwood Institute with Yvonne Hartman, with Jackie pretending to be Rose. Because she's like, "Come on, we know that you always have a companion with you. So, grab her out. And he grabs Jackie from the door and not Rose. But he's like, "Yes, this is Rose Tyler. This is absolutely Rose Tyler. She's not the best I've had, but she looked into a vortex, and then all of a sudden she's aged 57 years." And Jackie's like, "I am 40." So yeah, her and Ten have like this really kind of cool rapport. Yvonne is very, "Oh, I'm the head of Torchwood, and anything that's alien, if it's alien, it's ours." That is apparently the mantra of this Torchwood, right? So we meet her. She's like, "Oh yeah, like we're really, really glad to meet you, but you are a prisoner now. That's just the be all and end all of it. You're a prisoner." So he's like, "Okay, brilliant. Why am I a prisoner?" "Well, you're alien, so you're ours. But we'll make you comfortable." We also meet Adiola, who has Martha's face, and I have done a video on this on my TikTok, so go check that out. But the answer for it being "I had a cousin" just doesn't sit right with me. Like a lot of other characters, so for example, Martha's mum has previously been in it as Sister Jat in New Earth. She was a cat, and then she was a woman. Like, you could not tell that it was the same actress without like looking it up, right? You just genuinely couldn't. So I can excuse that. I can't excuse them having the same face and no changes and yeah, all of that. But yeah, so Martha had a cousin who worked at Torchwood, Adiola. She gets brainwashed by Cybermen. Her earpiece is suddenly glowing. And yeah, she's then taking other people to be upgraded. They're then hacking the system. They're doing all of that. Rose then sneaks in and is like, yeah, okay, well, I'm going to sneak into this building. I'm going to use the psychic paper. But unfortunately for her, everyone at Torchwood has psychic ability. So the psychic paper doesn't work for them, sadly. But you know who's there to save the day? Mickey. Good old Mickey Smith. You can always rely on Mickey Smith. So the Cybermen have come through the void. So's Mickey. Mickey came in after him, essentially, and has been learning everything that he can. He's been working in the background. And yeah, he's been sort of embedding himself in Torchwood. Didn't give Rose a text, though. Makes sense, though. Like, would you? If you were him, would you give her a text? I don't think I would, after everything. But yeah, so he's on Earth. He also has a big, massive gun just hidden under a table, apparently. But they see this big, massive sphere, which has no mass. It shouldn't actually exist. It shouldn't be there. It, like, for all intents and purposes, doesn't exist. It doesn't have any weight. It doesn't have anything in it. It's not made of anything. It is Dalek technology. The Daleks have been hiding in it, and we see them, and we see the lovely black Dalek design, which is my favorite. Like, ugh, I love it. I don't know. I just like. Don't get me wrong, gold Daleks cool. Black Dalek design, it's just so sleek. I love it. Like, I love, and also the Genesis arc as well. I really like the design of that. I know it's Time Lord technology that the Daleks have used, but yeah, I think it's really, really cool. And yeah, we also see Jake and Pete come through. And you know, they take the Doctor, they save the Doctor. We also have, you know, some sassy little Dalek and Cybermen moments of, you know, this is not war, this is pest control, which iconic. Also, the Cybermen being like, you know, we have like thousands. How many are you? And he's like, 4. You could defeat the Cybermen with 4 Daleks. We could defeat the Cybermen with 1 Dalek, which, again, love the Daleks. Also, the fact that cyber technology does nothing to the Daleks, like literally nothing, but like a Dalek blast, gone. They're dead. They're kaput. Right? I love that because that shows that the Daleks would win, like in any kind of battle against most things except the Doctor, apparently. So we realise that Rose has been kept alive to touch the Genesis arc so that it opens. And yeah, that's that's kind of where we end the episode, really. You know, with finding out that it is the Daleks and it's them who have been doing all of this all along, and they've been using Time Lord technology of the Genesis arc to conceal themselves. They came through. The Cybermen are like, we have no idea what the hell is in that sphere. But yeah, and then we're going to move on to Doomsday. We're now going to move to the sad departure of Rose Tyler, or this is the story of how I died in Doomsday, right? So obviously, Daleks versus Cybermen. The Daleks are using the Genesis arc, which they need a time traveler's touch to essentially boot up, right? Because time travelers are covered in void stuff, they're covered in kind of particles. And you know, it's the one thing that Daleks can't do is touch. Jackie gets taken along with Yvonne to where they are creating the Cybermen. Yvonne gets turned into a Cyberman and then kicks some ass with a single tear. I did it for Queen and Country. But Jackie scarpers. She runs, like, pretty much undetected to begin with. And then when she does reconnect with Pete, it's, I know we have ghosts, but why him? Like, dude, your husband has been dead for like 20 years. Like, you should miss him like a little bit. Surely there's a little bit of like, oh my god. Of course, there's going to be a bit of like, how are you standing there? But she also thought that her dad was a blur in her kitchen. So, like, make that make sense. It don't make sense. But anyway, so Pete is very much of the belief that's not my Jackie. Rose is not my daughter. Your Pete's gone. My Jackie's gone. You know, this ain't ever going to work. Which we will get back to. But the plan is to get all of the people from the parallel world, as well as Jackie and Rose, back to the parallel world, because the Doctor needs to open the void to suck the Daleks and Cybermen in, because they're covered in void stuff, right? And, you know, they would be sucked in. So Rose, Mickey, Jake, the Doctor, they would all be sucked in. Jackie wouldn't, because she hasn't been through the void yet. And the Doctor wants desperately to protect Rose. Rose chooses the Doctor, but the Doctor always chooses Rose first and always puts her needs before his own. So there's this look that David Tennant does. It's cold, dead eyes, but also kind of like this quiet sadness when he puts on like the yellow button thing on Rose. When he puts that on, and when he, you know, sends her away, right? It's the same look when she gets taken by Pete before she's sucked into the void. Yeah, it's the same look that he gives when he realizes he's never ever going to see her again. He's really good at doing this, like, kind of loud booming, how dare you? Why have you done this to her? But he's equally good at doing that quiet depression, I guess. But yeah, those are two things that David Tennant is incredible at. Like, he's very, very emotive as an actor. And I love that. I feel like that is definitely needed for the 10th Doctor and everything that he goes through. So he's then kind of stuck on his own. After all, really. The Daleks and Cybermen get pulled in. And, you know, Rose is saved because she comes right back, but she almost gets sucked into the void. Which I remember watching it for the first time, like, as a kid, as like a fucking 9-year-old kid, and I'm just like sat there. And I'm like, oh, okay. So Rose is gonna get sucked in, that's how she dies. And then seeing Pete at the end, I'm like, oh, no, she's not gonna die. She's saved. And it turns out the reason that she died is because she's legally dead on their Earth. So the Doctor kills her, like, on force. So they go back to live their life. And Pete wastes no fucking time. Because then when we see Rose go to Bad Wolf Bay, Jackie is 3 months pregnant. So clearly his whole, oh, she's not my Jackie bit lasted all of 38 seconds. Because, yeah, Jackie's then pregnant again. Which, also, why would you get Jackie to drive that long? Because they've been driving hundreds and hundreds of miles and they're in a different country now. Why would you get her to be there for all that when she's 3 months pregnant? Like, surely that's not good for her, like, traveling that amount and having no real breaks, having no real, you know, chill time, any, you know, and they're probably not sleeping in actual beds. It's probably like, oh, they'll sleep in the car, you know? But yeah, we then get the Bad Wolf Bay scene, which is iconic, absolutely iconic. But again, it is emotional blue balls. Because the Doctor's like, he knows, he's like, right, I am burning up an entire sun just to say goodbye. And instead of when Rose goes, I love you, him going, I love you too, he goes, quite right too. And he's like, oh, if this is my last chance to say it, Rose Tyler. And then drifts off into nothingness. So he made her drive all that way to not even say I love you. Like, he had time to say you too. He had time, like, without all the rest of it, to go, I love you too. You know? But yeah, that brings us to the end of it. And then we see good old Donna pop up in the TARDIS. And yeah, I cannot wait. I can't wait for Runaway Bride. I can't wait for Series 3 and Series 4 because those are some of my favourites. But yeah, so this is the end of the video. We will be watching Runaway Bride very, very soon. And getting into season 3, and that is when I will cover that. So, again, if you like spooky things, if you like Doctor Who, fantasy, sci fi, Buffy, Supernatural, all that kind of stuff, that is the sort of stuff that I talk about on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm going to start talking about on here more. So if you want to check those out, links are down below. And yeah, I have been Shy. This has been my New Who rewatch, and yeah, see ya.